Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Thank you, KK. Phil and Ryan listen up back on September the 7th. If you wasn't aware, Ryan, we did change the calendar to August to September. I know that you said we're way overdue. And we did not forget about the interviews. They will be coming to you guys very, very soon to everybody. Thank you. We love each and every one of y'all. Very special comment section that we had on the last video. So we hope that you stay for the end because Ryan, there's some good comments to read, especially on this video. But to break it on down for you, Ryan, actually a very unique. I want to ask how you've been. It's been a while since I've caught up with you. Very unique episode though today because we had news, but then everything kind of went on pause as far as this news we're getting ready to talk about. But we're going to talk about it anyway, and then Ryan is going to predict if it's going to happen or not. So, Ryan, here we go. The talks about now this is all UConn sports, right? Not just women's basketball. The talks about them moving to the Big 12. We appreciate CT Insider for bringing us this news. They broke down into three different topics here. If UConn, matter of fact, now we're just focused on women's basketball, Ryan. Obviously, this article is about women's basketball. What would happen if UConn would move to the Big 12? So tougher conference schedule. I'm sure you and everybody else would agree with that one. Revival of Baylor rivalry, right? And then old and new foes. So Ryan, I come to you on this Saturday morning or afternoon rather, and I ask you, what is the biggest topic or category out of those three? And then if you would predict for me, will it happen? Because the twist, like I told you about, was just a couple of days ago. I called you and I'm like, Ryan, kind of glad we didn't have that podcast yet because now Big 12 discussions to add UConn have stalled, according to ESPN.
Yeah, it's not really a big surprise to me that these talks have stalled because it kind of was just all rumors. And this conversation has really started last summer as well. They were talking about it a little bit. And of course, it got brought up again about a week or so ago now. And of course, nothing is official yet. All rumors, like I said, and like we learned just a couple days ago now that all of these talks have kind of stalled and nobody really knows if anything is going to happen. But of course, there would be a lot of changes as a whole if UConn does make the move. But of course, like you said, we're here to just talk about the UConn women's basketball team. And first off, like you kind of just mentioned, the competition would be a lot more challenging in the Big 12. UConn still might be considered the favorites, but of course you have Iowa State, who UConn is going to play this year, Baylor, Kansas State, Colorado, and Utah, and presumably UConn would play those teams twice a year if they are in the same conference. So their path to winning the conference will not be as easy, and going undefeated might not be in the cards either. But I think overall that is a positive because, of course, playing tougher competition gets the Huskies more prepared for March and the postseason. And of course, moving to the Big 12, renew the rivalry that you brought up between UConn and Baylor. These teams have had some pretty fierce battles in the past. I'm sure a lot of the viewers remember a couple of those in March. These teams have had, getting to play them twice a year would definitely renew that during the regular season, make some pretty exciting games. And UConn would also play five teams they have never played before, including Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, TCU, Colorado, and Utah. So perhaps a chance to renew an old rivalry and start some new ones. And the final thing I want to bring up, which wasn't in that article, is the traveling distance. UConn would have to travel significantly more if they were to move conferences. As of now, in the Big East, they can travel by bus to about three or four of the conference opponents if they choose to do so. And of course, moving to the Big 12, the closest school I believe would be West Virginia. So UConn would have to do a lot more traveling to Arizona, Texas, Utah, Colorado, Iowa, Oklahoma, a lot of different states that would be going back and forth to. So I would say traveling would probably be the biggest adjustment the team would have to make as a whole. But I think everything else is a positive, and I think the biggest change for me would probably be the toughness of the schedule, which, of course, I think as a whole it is a positive.
Yeah, I like how you pointed out traveling. I love to travel. I don't know about you, but I'm sure we wouldn't like it so much. We had to pack our bags all the time, right? And you're in pain a lot. I'm sure these athletes don't admit it, but I'm sure that you're playing basketball and let alone practice. You're in the gym almost every day, if not every day. Ryan, your body takes a toll, right? And traveling is just that much more puts that much more pressure on you when you're an athlete, no matter what level that is. You're talking about. So, in other words, do you think it's going to happen?
I don't know. I mean, with these talks stalling out, I wasn't a big believer when it got brought up again this summer. I just think, when you just look at it from the women's basketball standpoint, I think it's easy to say that it will happen. But when you factor in, of course, money, money dictates a lot of things. And I think that, there would be a lot of different changes that would have to be made for, of course, all of the sports to move into the Big 12. As much as I want it to happen for, of course, our women Huskies, I just don't see it happening anytime soon, unfortunately. But I think maybe in about 5 years, maybe it gets brought up again and we can finally, move to another conference, maybe the Big 12. But, in the next couple years, I don't really see it happening.
And I'm not trying to I'm not trying to give it a different look as far as you and I, like make it seem like, oh, Phil and Rye are just out for themselves and they want everybody to watch them. No, we love UConn basketball. The reason I bring that up, Ryan, is because I'm kind of afraid to open my mouth about this. UConn Nation is probably going to really jam me hard on this when I say in the comment section. But look, what do you tell the people that definitely do not want UConn to move because they love those? We talked about it. It's no secret. They love the blowout wins year after year after year in conference. And I told you it would be nice to have some higher recruits go to these. Now, there's been some great players at young ladies at other schools in the Big East. What do you tell people that definitely do not want this move? I want it because again, I want to see UConn win, but again, I told you this, and I will admit it. You probably didn't think I would. Now, it's kind of getting a little bit old as considering how long it's been going on. I know some people love the dominance, right, of this team and conference. To me, man, the ratings, how much more forward we would be looking on this podcast and everybody in UConn Nation. I think that they should have a different opinion on that. It's just, I think as of right now, I know you tell me if I'm wrong. I just don't look forward to these in conference games so much anymore because you pretty much know what's going to happen. And but on the last podcast, I'm telling you, Ryan, that's a beautiful thing about sports. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been about 4 or 5 years now that UConn has moved back into the Big East, and of course, as we know, UConn's won the regular season conference and won the Big East title there at the end, and of course, last season they went undefeated. So it's been pretty easy for the women's basketball team, and the men's team has been doing pretty good as well. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see it happen in terms of the stiffer competition. But yeah, I think it would be a positive for for the Huskies in general. But yeah, I think it would make for definitely a lot more exciting games, and I think it would be interesting since you have a loaded conference schedule, seeing what the non-conference schedule teams will be. Perhaps their schedule would be loaded all of the time. Then with all these ranked opponents, it would definitely be a lot more challenging, but definitely make for a lot more exciting games.
Man, all right, here we go, Ryan. Ranger said, act like it's March. Do a matchup breakdown player to player and who may have the edge, like UConn matching up to USC, for example, and a few other teams that might make it to the Elite Eight or Final Four. See how these early predictions turn out when all's said and done. We want the nitty gritty. See how your analysis pans out. Peace. A mock bracketology, maybe. I love it. We need some ideas, Ryan. There's one of them.
Yeah, that is a pretty good idea. We probably definitely do that. We don't have too many ideas. We kind of been searching, so we're thinking about doing the normal player breakdown of this roster, reviewing all 14 of the women. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea to get us. We're trying to limp to the finish line here in November during the off season.
Here he is, the man, the myth, and the legend. Jason D'Amico said Paige hit the weight room and seems much more durable. That is what I am most happy about. Peace. Side note, Phil, in quotes, Ryan, we love how subs respect each other and never fight. I guess I said that at one time, Ryan. And then he goes, I would sacrifice Phil for a freaking Klondike bar.
Yeah, I love the
I don't
community.
know if Ryan feels the same way as much as he has to hear me all the time.
Yeah, I love the community we have in the comments section, and that everybody's built really. I think we have a pretty positive UConn Husky community, and I'm glad we just get to come on here all the time and read all these comments and love interacting with everybody. But yeah, Paige is, of course, we talked about her quite a bit during the off season, and hopefully she's going to be the superstar like we've seen before. Of course, expecting a lot of big things out of her this season. Hopefully she can lead us along with all these other women on this team to another great season.
How about Adam Edmonds? He came through. We hope he's ready for the new season. He said, I love that Paige is getting more of those sponsors and getting that bag. She has such a great heart and is making life better for those around her. Great teammate and great person.
Yeah, I mean she might as well get it while she can. That the NIL has really become quite a popular thing. So I don't blame her for getting all these sponsorships, and of course with the Madison Reed deal, a couple other of the UConn Husky teammates are got that sponsorship as well, got the partnership. So love to see everybody trying to get the bag and get their name out there, and get the money while you can now in college. It's great to see him.
Yeah, if people watch long enough, usually I save Jason D'Amico's comment for last, or I say a quote at the end, but I won't do that this time. Something very special, and we appreciate her a lot because she has done a lot of work for you and I, especially you, that goes unnoticed, especially during holidays. And I can't thank her enough. Um, Very grateful for this person. And before we came on, I said, Ryan, is it okay if I tell them who this person actually is, or do you just want me to say her name? And you're like, no, you can tell them. Well, I'll let you tell them after I finish reading this comment. This person says these boys do a good job and enjoy what they do. In fact, they have a passion for the game and their podcast. Kudos to both of you for following that passion.
Yeah, and that is my mom. So thank you so much, Mom. Love you. And yeah, I think when we started this podcast, we of course didn't really know where it was gonna go. Didn't get that many views, of course, in the beginning. A couple of times it was tough to kind of continue it. And of course, we've had support and help from a lot of people, and can't thank all those people and family members enough for continuing to support us. And of course, now we've been covering these UConn Huskies women's team for 3 years now, and can't thank all of the subs and all the people watching, commenting, and it really is a big part. And thanks to you guys for continuing to support us. And like I said, we built a pretty good community, and we get to talk about UConn women's basketball, and love to keep on doing it for a lot more years to come.
Ryan, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and shout out to my mom too. Hey, mom, how you doing? So, all right, peace to everybody. Look, Ryan, I'm not getting into it right now, but I'll leave you with this. The news this week, the last couple of weeks, has been, again, I don't want to say we're used to it by now, but it's really disturbing, and it's sickening. It needs to stop. And I hope people that's not even basketball fans, not even sports fans, I hope they see this right now. If you want to have a message for them, you go ahead. You go ahead, Ryan. You have more than enough right to do that. If you want to hit the end button, that's up to you. Go out there and love. Stop the hate.
Yeah, like I've said a couple of times, there's a lot of negativity online, of course, with all the social media and everything like that. And I always try to spread as much positivity as we can. And I'm grateful that I think we built a pretty positive community on here. But yeah, just try your best as always to be positive, spread positivity everywhere. We live in such a pretty negative world all the time, and it's kind of hard to find the positive sometimes. But try your best to always spread positivity.
All right, Phil and Rye on Listen Up.